Hello everyone, my name is Fatuma Sidibe and today I'd like for us to look at another area that's also part of self-image, and this will be self-esteem and self-worth. But before I delve into the topic, um, how is everyone? How are you all doing? I hope you had a great day yesterday and are having a great day today. And I hope you are coping very well with the current pandemic that we're in. And I'm hoping that things have not been too hard for you. All right, okay, so the topic of today is self-esteem and also self-worth. I thought I'd talk about this topic, about these two phrases, because they are also part of the things that we talk about when we talk about self-image. It doesn't really matter that much what they really, what they really mean individually, because they are still part of your self-image. How you see yourself, that's the kind of esteem you will hold for yourself, and that's also the kind of worth you will have for. That's the kind of worth you will have for yourself. So it doesn't really matter. Let's not get bogged down into semantics, the semantics of self-image and all that. The most important thing is to know is that the self-image, your self-image is what determines who you are. It determines how you act, what is important to you. It determines what you do, what you don't do, and how you do it, and how you see it. It determines how you see yourself. So therefore, it determines everything you do, almost everything you do in your life. And I spoke about this yesterday, and today I thought, okay, let me just get these other two phrases out of the way because they are also part of this, the self-image conversation. And so the first thing I'd like to talk about is self-esteem. I'm sure you've heard this quite a lot, and especially in circles, relationship circles, and things like that, where you would say to someone, she's just got low self-esteem, or he's just got low self-esteem. What does that really mean? So self-esteem is self-regard, how you hold yourself within yourself, how much regard you have for yourself, how much regard you have for yourself in terms of relationships, how much regard you have for yourself in terms of how much money you earn and how much money you don't earn, how much regard you have for yourself in terms of the way you treat yourself and the way you allow others to treat you. All those things are part of self-esteem, which are also all part of your self-image. So self-esteem is just basically how much regard you have for yourself. This is also another important facet of the self-image, because unfortunately most of us weren't taught as a child, we were not taught how to have a high self-esteem for ourselves, because we were raised in communities and in families where we had to put other people first. And as a young child, you're told what to do. And most of the time, if you were raised in a family where you are seen but not heard, your opinion or how you felt didn't really matter that much. You have to get in line. And so therefore we tend to take our self-esteem from that. And when we went to school too, we weren't really taught about self-esteem. You go to school, we were taught specific subjects. The very fact that you go to school and you sit in the classroom for hours and you're listening to somebody else giving you knowledge it's also an attack on your self-esteem, because knowledge is, for me, what I think, how you gain knowledge is self-experiential. You're supposed to gain knowledge by your through your personal experience. But if you are always depending on someone else to give you knowledge, then you never develop your own faculty and your own intuition and your ability to experience and learn from your experiences. You always have to ask somebody else, what do you think I should do? What do you think I should say? You're always looking for knowledge and for information from other people, and from online we see. And so it takes away from your ability to regard your own knowledge center, or your own ability to discern what is good for you and what is not good for you. Just because of that, we weren't really taught about our self-esteem. Um, so in the homes, we were not taught about self-esteem. In the schools, we were not really taught about self-esteem. We were just taught to take in knowledge. So it's not surprising that you grow up and then the regard you have for yourself is still a bit low, because you don't really know what you don't really know how to regard yourself other than what you've been taught or what you've seen other people do. If you're lucky enough, if you've been in a family where your parents and your caregivers had high self-esteem, luckily they would have imparted that to you. But if you were raised in a family where you didn't have that, then you will copy that. The other thing is self-worth. Self-worth is what you expect from the world, what you also expect from yourself, because of how you see yourself or because of how much you regard yourself. Self-worth is it can be in terms of finances. Okay, say you're going for a job. If you have a high self-worth and you're able to negotiate your salary, you can negotiate your salary based on your worth, how much you think you're bringing to that company. Also in a relationship, there are certain things. If you have a high self-worth, there are certain things you will not allow. The treatment, and when I say relationship, I don't just mean relationships between lovers and between a husband and wife, or between girlfriend and boyfriend. Those kind of relationships. I'm talking about relationships, all types of relationships between members of your family, between you and your members of your family, relationships between you and your colleagues, and relationships between you and co-workers, and all types of relationships. When you have a high self-worth, you demand equal to that worth. So this is to do with how much you feel your value is, how much you see your value, and how much you feel that people should give you back according to that value, and how much you give yourself back according to that value. If you have a low self-worth, you will be the type of person that will be just be doing for everybody. Whenever someone asks you to come and help them, you just go. You're almost always ready to help, but you never ask for anything back. That's the type of person who doesn't have that much of a high self-worth. And also, you don't have firm boundaries. You don't know when to say no. You keep well, that's the same thing as doing for other people. You just keep saying yes, 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 because you feel like if you say no, people are going to hate you, or people are not going to include you, or whatever. And so therefore that also shows how much you value yourself, how much you think of yourself. But like I said, all of these things are just semantics. They are all part of the self-esteem. They're all part of how you see yourself. If you have a high self-regard, that means you see yourself highly. You regard yourself highly. If you have a high self-worth, that means it also comes from the regard. When you regard yourself highly, then what you demand from the world will be high. If you have low self-esteem, then what you demand from the world will be low, and also what you demand from yourself will also be low. So these are just the two. These are the two definitions of the two phrases: self-worth and self-esteem. What I wanted us to do today is just to do a small exercise in these two areas, in the areas of self-esteem and self-worth. And let's look at these three areas. Let's look at area one. The area one is your opinion. In terms of self-esteem, if you have a high self-esteem, your opinion is worth a lot to you. It doesn't matter what other people say. It doesn't matter what other people think. What you think and what you believe is for you. That's the highest. It has the highest value for you. That doesn't mean to say that you're not going to listen to anybody else. It means that you listen, but at the end of the day, you make your own decision, and you're not fazed by what other people think of you. You're not fazed by what other people think of what you are doing, or what other people think of what you have not decided to do. That's when you have a high self-esteem, or high regard for your opinions. Unfortunately, like I said, we were not taught in school, and in most homes, we were not taught to have a high self-regard about our opinions, because you were always told what to do. So most of the things that you did in your life you were commanded to do by somebody else, or you were asked to do by somebody else. So that didn't leave much space for you to take time to regard your own opinion and hold your own opinions and your own means to decipher the world and experience the world. It didn't leave much space for that. It didn't leave much room for that. So yeah. So if you have a low esteem about your opinion, about your opinions, then you're always constantly going to be asking other people for help. You're always going to be second guessing yourself. You're always going to think that what you think is not enough. You have to look for information from other people, from other places. You don't trust your gut. You don't trust your intuition, and you don't trust your abilities. Even though you might be highly intelligent, you might be highly skilled and all that, you still don't see yourself as somebody who can just do things. I can just say things, have a voice, and all that. So that's one area. The other area I wanted us to look at was also, and I would like you guys to do that. If you can, maybe sit quietly and look at this. Use self-esteem and self-worth, and look at these three areas. So you can take a pen and paper, and or you can use your computer or your laptop, and just type in the Word document. But I prefer old school. Or you can use your journal. I prefer the old school way of writing, writing things down. I feel it's more, I'm more connected to what I'm writing down rather than typing. But you can also use your journal. But if it's up to you, you can use your computer, or you can use your desktop, or you can use your laptop. And write this sentence down. Write down, how much esteem do I have for my opinion? And then give yourself time and write on all the answers. And the answers will be, you don't just say highly, don't just say highly or lowly, just explain to yourself, give yourself time to explain to yourself. If you say it's high, explain how it's high. What sort of behaviors do you do to show you that you have a high regard for your opinions? Do you not care that much about what other people think about what your opinions are? Or do you care a lot? And that will show you how much regard you have for your own opinions. And the second question is, how much is my opinion worth to me? That's also another exercise. That's also another question that you can answer. So how much is your opinion worth to you? Is it worth a lot? Is it not worth that much? How do you know this? How do you display? How do you act if your opinion is worth a lot to you? What do you do that makes you tells you that your opinion is worth a lot to you? And what do you do if your opinion is not worth a lot to you? It's an exercise that will help you get into the real nitty-gritty of how much regard you have for aspects in your life. So the third question is, how much esteem do I have for my appearance, or how much regard do I have for my appearance? And when you write down that question again, you give yourself time to answer it, and answer it truthfully. It's important that you do this by yourself. You can do it with someone else, with someone that you trust, someone that you're intimate with. But it's good that sometimes it's good to do these things with yourself, because it's like personal work, and sometimes it's difficult to share these things with somebody else, because you have to be truthful. Because if you're not truthful, then it's like you're just doing it for the sake of doing it. If you do it and be truthful, the truthfulness helps you see yourself better. It helps you know yourself better. So now you have a basis. You can start. If you need to change it, then you have a basis of changing it, and that can only come when you're true to yourself. So ask yourself this question: how much regard do I have for my appearance? Or how much esteem do I have for my appearance? Do I see myself as pretty? Really, really, really truthfully, do I see myself as pretty? I don't mean like, you know, this fake, I don't mean like this fake, oh yeah, I'm pretty, I know I'm beautiful, you know. No, really sit down, sit with this and ask yourself, do I really, really feel that I'm pretty? I'm not talking about with makeup or with all the bells and whistles that we, especially as women, like to apply, like I do. But do I really see myself as pretty, or do I see myself as ugly? And this has nothing to do with how you actually look. There's a lot of people who are very, 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 very pretty, but they see themselves as ugly. And there's a lot of people who are not considered like the traditional or the mainstream way of prettiness. That, you know, they are not considered pretty in that sense, but they see themselves as pretty. So it has to do with how you see yourself. How much regard do you have for your appearance? So yeah, that's the third question. And then the fourth question is for you, how much is my appearance worth to me? And this has to do with what you do about your appearance. Do you just get up and go? Do you not care about how you look? Or do you care a lot about how you look? These are all questions that will help you get to know yourself better and get to know how much regard and how much self-worth you have in these aspects. And so the fifth question is about health. And this question is, the fifth question is, how much esteem do I have for my health? And this can be a tricky question because I feel like often people, most of the time, we tend to not look at this truthfully. I feel like we often act, or at least let me talk about myself. We act like we actually care about our health. I act like I care about my health. But when I look at it deeply, it's often, most of the time, I don't really, because there are a lot of things that I eat that I shouldn't be eating, and I'm eating them. I eat a lot of sugar, drink a lot of tea and coffee, and with all the coffee the cups of coffee that I drink and the tea, I put sugar in or honey, and I don't always eat a lot of vegetables and salads and fruits. Well, I do eat fruits, but I don't eat like a lot of vegetables and greens. Um, and I also, like I said yesterday in my video, I eat sweets. I try not to buy them as much as possible, but when I get to the shop, sometimes I do buy them. And even though I know that these things are harmful to my health, I still eat them. The other thing is too, I don't really exercise. I don't really enjoy it. I don't enjoy exercise. That's the thing. But it's not about enjoying it. It's about my health. It's about the priority and the importance I've put on my health. So that's the thing. So I'm sure a lot of you can relate to me in this area, but that's it. That's the truth, is that my health is not that important to me, because if it were important to me, I'd be doing all these things. All the things that I know are going to cause my health to be at the optimum level. If my health were that important to me, I would be doing those things, but I often don't. So you also do this exercise by yourself at home, and ask yourself how much esteem or how much regard you have for your health. That's the fifth question. And then the sixth question is, how much is your health worth to you? And this is a deep question. How much really is our health worth to us? And yeah, in this area too, it's difficult for me. And this question is a bit actually more difficult to actually look at and face, because when you think about it, all the things that we spend money on, all the things that we run after, if we were to drop dead today, it will be over. And our health is the thing that is at the foundation of that. In order for us to enjoy other aspects of life, we have to be healthy. We have to be healthy enough to be able to enjoy them. And if your health is not that much, if your health is not that much worth to you, then it doesn't make sense to um, to place other things above it. But we do that. We don't really put much worth on our health. Um, and so yeah, this is also this is the sixth question. This exercise, well, it's just 6 questions. It might take you an hour to answer all these questions, or it might take you an hour and a half, because they are like questions that really will challenge you to look at your inner self and how you really feel about yourself. And oftentimes this is difficult, especially if you are not used to doing these kinds of inner work. It will be difficult for you to just overcome that boundary and start answering these questions truthfully to yourself. But they are very important questions. It's very important for us to know who we are inside, because that's the foundation for us. If we want to change ourselves, you have to know who you are. You have to know where you are within yourself to be able to change from one aspect to the next. So yeah, this is what I have for you today. It's a short video, and I didn't want it to be too long. So that's the exercise I have for you. If you can take just 1 hour out of your day and do this exercise, that will be, I think it will greatly help you. It will greatly help you. And you can also use these questions to apply them to other areas of your life, not just these 3 areas. So I hope that has been a little bit of help. And if you have any more questions or any more suggestions about self-esteem and self-worth, feel free to state them in the comments. And if when I come across the questions, I'll try to answer them as much as possible. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video, and I wish you a lovely day. Before I forget, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this video so that other people can also have access to these videos and help them in their personal development journey and help them improve their lives, change their lives for the better. So thank you. Bye-bye.